Quest for You is on. Thank you for joining. I'm Janine, and this is episode 137. I have a good friend who struggles with addiction, serious addiction. And just thinking and talking about this person makes me sad, because there's so little I can do to help. But over the holidays, I came to realize something. We all have our addictions. And I don't want to downplay addictions like the one my friend battles with. Addictions so severe that they can destroy your entire life within a couple of days. Where you can lose everything you own, and including your reputation and your good record. Where you peel yourself out of the gutter, sometimes literally, and start all over. And starting over for a serious addict is not a leisurely walk. Dust yourself off and get back to normal. No. It's a climb up a steep hill, so slow, day by day, tiny steps, adding up slowly over the years to hopefully a stronger person that can simply say no when a temptation knocks. It's that serious. But I also don't want to downplay our, yes, less serious, but still our daily addictions. And many of us have them. Hours spent on social media, obsessively checking your feeds every few minutes. Those add up to hours. Sugar addictions. Yes, that afternoon candy bar craving. That's it. Or any other type of food addictions. Alcohol, cigarettes, weed, medications, pornography, video games, gambling, shopping. Addictions to behaviors that give you an adrenaline rush. Take your pick. Many of us struggle with some version of these. And we don't think of it as an addiction. But if we need it every day in order to feel better, then we are talking about a dependency. What about harmless things? The need to be right all the time. Our comfort zone, which we don't want to leave. The excuses we make for the behaviors we continue to exhibit. The constant need to be surrounded by people, approved of, recognized, and so much more. We all struggle with something that we feel we need to have so our life can be better. So what should we do? Many people think it's fine to have something. Hey, as long as it's not so bad as the serious stuff I told you about just now. It could be worse, right? We all need something. That's what life is all about. We have to have a little bit of fun. We often hear these and other explanations. But is that really true? And where do we draw the line? What is okay? Well, let me scale back a little bit. I admit I went a little bit overboard. So according to the American Psychiatric Association, addiction is a complex condition, a brain disease that is manifested by compulsive substance use despite harmful consequences. People with addiction have an intense focus on using a certain substance, such as alcohol or drugs, to the point that it takes over their life. Yeah, so maybe our day-to-day stuff doesn't qualify as an addiction. Maybe we shouldn't use the word so freely. I know my friend always tells me that I don't understand addiction, and maybe I don't. But what I want to achieve with today's episode is this. Take a look at your life and search for addictions. Yes, the minor ones. Here's how I look at it. If it takes considerable amount of time and energy out of your day, if it has negative consequences, if it leaves you with diminished control over yourself, if you experience withdrawal, meaning you need to have or do your thing, otherwise you're irritable, anxious, and unable to function. And lastly, if you know you should be cutting down. Any and all of these are pretty good indicators that you're dealing with something that is limiting you in being your best self. It's a pleasurable experience in the moment, but in the long run, it has a negative effect on your life. Now look again. Anything in your life that would fall under this? Here's a definition for addictive behavior. What are addictive behaviors? Any activity, substance, object, or behavior that has become the major focus of a person's life to the exclusion of other activities, or that has begun to harm the individual or others, physically, mentally, or socially, is considered an addictive behavior. So I need to eat healthy, otherwise I don't feel good. Is that an addiction? Yes, I do need veggies in my diet, otherwise I don't feel I'm eating a complete meal. But eating them makes me feel good and is positive for my health. It gives me energy to perform better. The same applies to exercise. I'm one of those crazy people that's in the gym almost every day. But those are good habits. An addiction has negative consequences. That is how you know. If you get in trouble with the law, if it affects your health and your body adversely, if it destroys your relationships, if it contributes to your financial ruin, all these are negative consequences. And sometimes they creep into our life so silently, barely noticeable. There are times when I need to have coffee every day. It starts with a couple of days in a row, maybe because I'm on vacation or I have a long weekend. And then sometimes I just slip into it. I continue, despite being back in my daily routine. Until suddenly, I don't feel so good anymore. Slight headaches creep in the morning. And I feel sluggish if I don't have my coffee. And that's when I finally wake up and realize, I started building a habit that is not good for me. The same happens with sugar. Not eating candy and chocolate for a couple of weeks, and I forget about it. I don't need it. But as soon as I start eating it again, there goes the craving, and I begin to need it daily. For you, it might be something else. But that's often how these little addictions start. When we least pay attention, they take over our life. So I want to invite you. Ask yourself, what is holding you back from being your best, your brightest, your shiniest self every single day? What is taking time away, energy and willpower, and leaves you drained and unmotivated to pursue the things you really want to go after? What stands in the way every single day for you to take it up a notch in your career, in your personal life, and in your growth as a human being? What would you like to eliminate but think you can't live without? What is tugging on you, pulling you away from what you really want? Some people are addicted to their partner, not in a loving way, but in a dependent way. Find out what it is for you. That is how the quest for you begins. That is how New Year's resolutions come to life. That's why self-help books sell like hotcakes. People wake up. They become aware that they have lost control over a certain part of their life. They know they cannot make progress personally and achieve success in their endeavors unless they make a change. And if a soft approach hasn't helped, if you told yourself many times that you will quit smoking and stopped many times but keep going back, maybe you need a more drastic approach. Maybe it's not a bad idea to consider your habit an addiction and take serious steps to eliminate it. If you feel like you've tried everything, if goal setting hasn't worked, if willpower has failed you, if you tried to resist but no matter how long, eventually you gave in, maybe now it's time for a drastic change. And any change starts with recognizing the problem. The more serious you consider the issue, the more serious you will be in trying to find a solution. The next step is to realize that your addictions are habits. Yes, there are some drugs that are physically addicting, but the physical addiction goes away, meaning once the chemicals are out of the bloodstream, the physical addiction is gone. And what is left is the much harder part, the behavioral pattern that led to the addiction in the first place. You established a habit for yourself. Grabbing a glass of wine as soon as you get home from work, or just like in my example with the morning coffee or the sweets in the afternoon. A routine gets established that is difficult to get out of. Why is that? Because we get comfortable in our routines. And if you recall, we spend a lot of time talking about them before the end of the year. We perform them because we are rewarding ourselves. And we get attached to the reward. And then later, when we are addicted, as soon as the cue is there, the craving starts. The pink donut box that makes us think about the donut inside for hours. The phone buzzing in your pocket that you cannot wait to look at. The group of friends getting together smoking weed. Once you anticipate the reward, you crave your reward. And this craving is so powerful, as many of you know. You may not be hungry for a donut. You may not even want to smoke or drink. You don't even think about Facebook. But as soon as the cue is there, you cannot think of anything else. And once you start thinking about the reward, should I or should I not, that's when you cannot let go, usually until you give in. Or, as we discussed on previous episodes, you distract yourself or you sidestep willpower. The best way to conquer addictions is to establish a new habit that replaces the old one. Addictions are strong, so just distracting yourself will often not work. Find something new that you do or have, and hopefully it is something that is much healthier and productive for you. So maybe instead of a smoke, you have a shot of espresso, which is not nearly as bad, but it can easily be incorporated into those breaks where you used to want to smoke. Maybe instead of a donut, you have a yogurt and some fruit in your fridge at work. So as soon as someone brings donuts or other sugary treats, you go for your own treat instead. You just need to prepare. Instead of wine at night, maybe you put on your sneakers and go for a walk as soon as you get home. Replace your addiction with a new behavior. That way, you're not taxing your willpower needlessly every day. It becomes tiring trying to resist, and everyone who has tried it knows. Eventually you give in. It's normal. So I want to encourage you. This year, every day, build good habits. Those will carry you throughout the tough times. Those will eventually replace your old addictions with new ones and good behaviors. Remember, you need to do something. You can't just sit there and debate, should I or should I not? You need to just do something different. And the best part about this is, one good habit may not only erase one bad habit. It can lead to other positive behaviors, all contributing to the same overall goal, to make you more productive, healthier, and happier in the long run. These kind of habits that have this ripple effect, they're called keystone habits, and I will spend some more time in an upcoming episode to talk about them. For today, I want to leave you thinking. Yeah, maybe there are no serious addictions in your life, but what is it that you think that you need to be happy every day? And to end with a quote by Charles Duhigg, the hero, the king, the master of habits, with his book, The Power of Habit. The golden rule of habit change. You can't extinguish a bad habit. You can only change it. Much love today. Talk to you soon.